down until 2019 in order to help Britain offset the uncertainty regarding Brexit. Is this good news for the markets?
Yes, it is good news. Mark Carney is considered to be a very straightforward, very efficient, reliable monetary policy maker. Of course, there was a lot of criticism in the United Kingdom of Mark Carney because he warned about the potential negative impact of the Brexit on the economy in the United Kingdom. But if you talk to a majority of people here in the financial world of Frankfurt, most people share the concerns Carney has for the UK economy. And there's more. The criticism of Carney that mostly came from people who are pro-Brexit in the UK was perceived also by many people here as an attack on the independence of the Bank of England in general. And you know, the independence of the central banks is a very important factor of confidence of financial people into the system. So the fact that Theresa May, the Prime Minister of the UK, confirmed and even prolonged the contract of Mark Carney is seen as a sign of confidence that Theresa May gave here also in the independence of the Bank of England and its monetary policy.
The oil and gas sector was up 0.87% in early trade today. Shell, an oil major, saw its shares up by 3.8% after reporting impressive earnings for its third quarter. On the other hand, BP shares fell 1.2% despite reporting earnings that beat expectations. Why do you think we have these reactions from investors?
Well, because the situation of those two oil companies are very, very diverse. Shell managed to increase its profits by 18%. BP, on the other hand, came in with a third quarter result half as big as last year's third quarter result. That's a very big difference of those two companies. And, you know, if you compare the situations, you can see what the reasons are. BP has had a number of legacy problems in the past. The businesses have been shrinking, which also had to do with the huge oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico in the United States. On the other hand, Shell has managed even to capitalize on, you know, the downswing of the overall market. Shell has taken over British Gas earlier this year. It has cut costs very effectively. It has sold lots of its assets, which has managed in much better results for Shell. Both companies are keeping up paying a dividend to their investors, which is good news for investors. Both, of course, are also hoping for a higher oil price. Shell predicts that by the year 2018 we are going to see $60 a barrel of an oil price. That's quite, I would say, a conservative guess.
Thank you so much for your insights, Conrad Bilson, DWTV financial correspondent reporting from Frankfurt. And now let's take you to the crude oil markets, where prices edged up from 1-month lows following its largest one-day slide in more than 5 weeks. The market remains weighed down by record output from the world's largest exporters and mounting uncertainty that OPEC and its rivals can do much to tackle a 2-year global surplus. Oil prices hit the highest in the year in October after the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries said at a meeting in Algeria in late September that it had agreed to limit production that is around record highs to help erode the surplus. And now let's take you further into the commodities market, starting at the home front, where President Muhammadu Buhari and the Niger Delta leaders were expected to meet in Abuja over issues affecting the region and oil production in the country. The federal government says that negotiations would continue until the unrest and militancy in the oil-rich region will adequately resolved. Now let's take a look at the crude oil market as a whole and how this meeting may turn out at the end. Adim Okwesa is a research analyst with the Financial Derivatives Company Limited, and it joins me from Lagos. Adim, thank you so much for coming on the show. Now, give us a sense. Let's start from the domestic front of the oil market in relation to demand and supply of premium motor spirit and diesel.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Give us a sense of how the market has been at the domestic front in terms of the supply and demand for PMS and diesel.
Well, it's pretty much the same. Nothing has changed. Prices are generally flat at 143 to 145 naira at the moment. But there are still issues concerning some parties that want an increase in petrol prices, but the government is still adamant that no change will be made.
Now, the meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Niger Delta leaders, we're told, is expected to hold today in Abuja, and there's been some contentions about the purpose of the meeting. What do you think is expected out of that meeting?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction, to be honest. This is the first engagement the president is going to have with the Niger Delta group. So it's a step in the right direction. There's an opportunity for both sides to bring their discussions to the table and hopefully have a productive discussion at the end of the day. But I think that if you look at it, the government is the most desperate party because it has everything to lose. If it cannot make any fruitful discussion, then it is going to be very bad for the country. And I think negotiations have to do with compromises, making compromises. The government has to make a compromise. And I think what is most important that the government needs to do is to get the Niger Delta group to buy into the sincerity of its plan to resolve the crisis. Talks of the Niger Delta talks have been well documented, and this is not the first talk that the government will be having. So I think the most important thing to do is if the government can appear to be sincere that it's actually going to carry out its promises.
All right, thank you so much, Adim Okwese, a research analyst with the Financial Derivatives Company Limited.
Thank you.
We'll go on a break, and when Business Incorporated returns, we'll be talking about the fixed income market. Please stay with us.